Hi, I'm Paul. For this video, I'm going to talk about seeking gain. I'm going to try and go a little bit deeper into the seeking. I'm probably going to say some things that many of you are not really going to maybe want to hear. But I'm just going to try and get a little bit more into the roots of where we're going wrong with seeking and how to end it, I guess. And so, firstly, seeking. You see, we've been taught our whole life through schools, even as a toddler, and through our jobs and adult life, that we need to seek outwards. We need to learn. If we want to learn something, we need to listen to teachers, read books, watch videos. If I want to know how to do something, then I watch a video, learn about it, and seek from external. But the one most important thing that you really need to know is yourself. Everything comes from the self. And also, we can't seek or learn ourselves by seeking outwards. I mean, we can learn superficial things, but we can't truly understand it from learning outwards. So if I want to know, let's say, I want to do weightlifting and I want to know what exercise will work on what muscle. So perhaps I decide I want to do weightlifting, and then I go out and buy some weights. And then I spend ages on the internet looking at what exercises do what. I listen to the people who are the biggest, the most muscly. They must have the answers. You see, all of this is not actually lifting the weight. If you want to know what exercise will work on what muscle, lift a weight and watch the muscle. I mean, it's pretty easy. Let's say you're doing push-ups and you say, I want to know what muscles this works on. Do a push-up and just watch. Watch your muscles, you'll see. You don't need to seek outwards. Oh, fine, we do need to look at some things, but when it comes to the body, perhaps we should look inwards first. So, when I'm saying looking inwards, I think that we've just been so conditioned just to jump to the conclusion that looking outwards is going to give answers. Maybe we could see it as a bit of a cheat. I'll ask somebody who's already done it and they'll be able to push me that little bit further on. And then I don't have to do it myself. But you see, well, I was going to say you don't learn anything, but you can gain knowledge from this. I mean, you can listen to every spiritual teacher, study Buddhism and Zen and everything, and you can know it all word for word, but this won't do anything. You'll know it by knowledge, but you'll never have truly understood yourself. So when I'm talking about knowledge and trying to understand the self, you see, when you're trying to find true self isn't the word. When you're trying to understand, when you're trying to see who you really are, and I'm suggesting you can't do this with knowledge. You see, knowledge is a tool. It's words, it's thoughts. You can explain something, but you can't do it. What I mean by this is, I tried learning something over the last probably about a year. Try to understand it, let's say. And this thing that I was trying to understand was Fantasia. You get hyperphantasia, aphantasia, and Fantasia. And Fantasia is where people see images from the mind, not like from the eyes. So they can, one person who I spoke to could say, well, I can just imagine an apple over there and I will see an apple. I've not actually done any studying online with this. I've just more questions. I know a couple of people who have it. I have aphantasia, so I don't see images at all. Or rarely, should I say. So I've tried speaking to them and trying to find out, what part of the brain, is it left hemisphere, right hemisphere? I've not answered that. I think it might be left hemisphere, just because it's imaginary. But I've been trying to understand what part of the brain, or maybe I could say what muscle. When I say muscle, I don't literally mean muscle. Could be part of the brain, just what's working. And I tried to understand what muscle this is that sees images. So over the year, I've tried digging into my mind and seeing if I can produce images myself. But what I kept on finding is every time I try to produce an image, I'm focusing on my eyes. I'm trying to see images with my eyes, and I know this isn't the place that Fantasia comes from. But it's the only muscle I know that I'm supposed to use to see things. So then I ask myself, what muscle is it I'm supposed to be using? What do I need to build up on? And you see, what I'm suggesting here is trying to find the mechanism that does it, not trying to learn words or knowledge to be able to do it. I've not discovered what muscle it is in my brain that sees images yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But you can see that the end of seeking is to stop seeking knowledge, but to see how you work. What muscles do what? What happens when this happens? What comes next? Why does the mind jump in all the time in certain parts? Perhaps there's sometimes when the mind doesn't jump in. I mean, here's something that you can pay attention to. When you fall asleep, the mind, the thinking mind, disappears for most people who do sleep quite well. So when you wake up in the morning, the mind, the thinking mind, hasn't quite started becoming active. And if you pay attention to this, you'll see it. And then you'll see a thought pop into your head in the morning where, what have I got to do today, or something along that lines. And then that thought will turn into another thought, which will turn into another thought, which will turn into another thought. But before all them thoughts started, what was the muscle that was used for the peace? What was happening? I spoke to a girl a little while ago who had never seen awareness, that the mind was talking so much that they never even knew that there was such thing as awareness there, but just thought that I am thoughts. So I spent a bit of time trying to help her find this awareness, see beyond the thoughts, just to see the stillness of awareness. And eventually, maybe 10 or 20 minutes in, I managed to get her to see awareness. Now, seeing awareness doesn't come from thought. Thought can't find it. It's where thought becomes silent. And then finally she seen it and said, oh, I've got it. But the trouble was, the moment that she said, I've got it, turned into thought. You see, awareness is more like a feeling. It's just a thing that's there. But the moment you say, I found it, what does this mean? What does it feel like? This is turning it into words. And therefore you're back to seeking again, and the feeling in the first place disappears because you're caught up in thought. So the idea of stopping seeking is to find the thing and not try to turn it into an explanation, not trying to understand it, not trying to grasp it with thought, just to sit with it. And I think this takes practice. I think there's muscles that you haven't really used. Don't forget, when I say muscles, I don't literally mean muscles, but just areas, parts of your brain, different things that you've not used, but it's easier to call it muscles. Let's say, going back to the weightlifting idea. So, you know, your stomach muscles, the six-pack, the abs, or whatever you really call it, you've obviously got 6 of them. Is it possible just to tense one of them muscles on its own without tensing the rest? Now, I know you're going to say, probably not. Maybe it is. But how do you do that? You see, that's going to have to take some intense insight, time. And time's not good when you're trying to find awareness, to be fair, but you've got to try and build up on that strength of the muscle to focus on it. So there's a part of the brain which works their muscles, and you need to find that part of the brain which is just going to operate one muscle on its own. This takes focus. And you're going to try and fail. But I think eventually, I'm not saying it is, but you see what I'm saying? If you really try, I think it's possible for the brain to be able to function in ways that you've never seen before. Now back to seeking. You see, our mind starts thinking. And we need to focus on what muscle's working and what muscle isn't working, and stop the one we don't want, which is the thinking. And this sounds easier than it is, because the mind is one tricky little devil. It tricks you endlessly. You see, you kick the mind out the front door, and then it comes wandering round to the back door, lets itself in and says to you, well done, you've kicked him out. And you go, yeah, I have. Who are you? Oh, you're back again. So what I'm saying is train up the muscles that's required, so that when you kick the ego out the front door, you go straight back to the back door and wait. And the moment he walks in, and you say, get out. Constantly alert. So the idea is not just to start seeking for knowledge of what people say and how to do it, but practice. You see, when the ego appears, you know, a thought appears, and you're alert, and you say, I see you, and you stop. It ends, but it comes back, and then you're alert, you see it, you end it. You see it, you end it. Now it does trick you, because let's say you trip up somewhere, and then it appears and says, you embarrassed yourself there. See, you do need me. You see, it'll try everything, tricking. But as long as you stand strong and be aware, and end it every time, even when it comes up with the most exciting thought. Because in truth, even excitement, happiness, is all the ego. Desire. I want. Can't wait for tomorrow. I'm going to have fun tomorrow. What interesting things can I do? All that is the ego. And you fall for it. But by strengthening up these muscles and practicing, you're going to build up the muscles and be stronger to it, be more alert, be more focused. And just say, no, thank you. every time. But I do also recommend watching in the morning, mainly if you do sleep okay, because when you do wake up, the ego, it shouldn't really be there, but you can watch it start appearing. It'll start off with just one thought, and then it'll turn into two, and then the next thing you know, you're gone in it, and it's trying to plan your whole day for you. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say. Thanks very much for listening.